release of The Last Jedi, we now have 9 live-action Star Wars movies, and that means today we're going to rank all 9 Star Wars movies from the worst to the best in under 6 minutes. Now, before I give you my ranking, be sure to give me your ranking down below in the comment section. Tell me which ones you love, which ones you hate, and which ones I'm totally off base on. And also stick around to the very end of the video to find out how you can possibly appear in one of my future reviews or ranking videos. With that said, let's start the timer. Coming in last place is Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. This movie easily comes in last place for me because it lacks a clear central story to give the movie a sense of urgency. There's plenty of plot lines going on, like an assassination plot line that you don't really care about, a romance that lacks chemistry and believable dialogue and good acting.
I don't like sand. It's coarse and rough and irritating. And it gets everywhere.
For all the loud visuals and action sequences that feel like they're straight out of a video game, it's still pretty boring and cringeworthy at far too many points. Coming in at number 8 is Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. This movie's probably the most frustrating movie on the list for me because I kind of feel like the central story and structure and most of the action is actually pretty good. Unfortunately, the character choices, the humor, the dialogue, the Senate negotiations, the midichlorians just kill the movie. To me, this movie feels like it's 3 or 4 changes away from actually being a very good to great movie. Now, granted, those are very big changes, but I feel like this movie could have been fixed. It could have been great. At number 7 is Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. There's a lot to love in this one. Some of the action, the lightsaber duels, the visuals can be pretty great. And when Order 66 goes down, it's just like a punch to the gut. But the motivation for Anakin's turn and the execution of it were seriously lacking for me. And the actual reveal of Darth Vader in the suit was laughably bad for me. So overall, a very frustrating movie because there's so much good in here and so much of the bad stuff that you see in the other 2 prequels. Coming in 6th place is Episode 8, The Last Jedi. Now, this movie does a great job of playing against our expectations and giving us a story that has actual stakes and urgency without feeling the need to just escalate the scope of the story. This is a character study that gives us some great moments with Luke and an amazing performance from Mark Hamill. Unfortunately, sometimes the reveals don't feel like they fully pay off. Some of the things that happen feel incredibly anticlimactic, and there's a whole subplot in this movie that feels totally unnecessary and like a distraction from the much better movie that's all around it. So all around, a movie that has some great high moments, but overall is a very mixed bag, unfortunately. At number 5 is Rogue One, A Star Wars Story. This is a movie with a third act so powerful that ends so strong that I almost forget how weak the first 2 acts can be. I mean, I love the space battle at the end, the big reveal of Darth Vader in action at the end of this movie, and where it lands the ship as a transition into A New Hope. All that works so well. The first 2 acts really kind of meander, and you can feel the reshoots that kind of went on with the movie, but overall, a very satisfying movie purely on the strength of that third act, which is just pretty phenomenal. At number 4 is Episode 7, The Force Awakens. For me, this is probably the most accessible and entertaining Star Wars film. The pacing, the humor, the overt plays on nostalgia just make for a fun film. But it's a bit like eating your favorite fast food. It's easy to eat and it's enjoyable at the time, but you don't want to think about it too much and there's not a lot of substance to it. Well, I understand why they returned to the template of A New Hope. The unnecessary repetition of certain beats hurts the film, but overall, a very rewatchable film for me that's quite entertaining. Coming in 3rd place is Episode 6, Return of the Jedi. This is a tricky one for me because it feels a little bit like 1.5 movies. The entire first act at Jabba's palace feels a little bit more like a prologue to the movie than an actual connected part to the story that's being told about the Death Star. Also, in the 3rd act of the movie, 2/3 of it is just fantastic. For my money, this is the greatest space battle that has ever been put to film, and the stuff with Luke, Vader, and the Emperor is some of the most emotionally satisfying in the entire franchise. So overall, a very, very good movie that I thoroughly enjoy that's a little bit unbalanced. Our runner-up is Star Wars, or as it later became known, Episode 4, A New Hope. The movie that started it all is still one of the best. It introduced us to all these amazing characters, the Jedi, all while doing all this world building in such an efficient manner. This movie in many ways is kind of an articulation of classic timeless mythology for the modern world. But it's really just such a fun ride to see good triumph over evil, a scoundrel return to save the day, and watch a farm boy become the hero. But coming in at first place is Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back. This is just a movie that works on so many levels. It's a coming-of-age story where Luke is trained by Yoda, and he goes from the whiny farm boy to the brave, almost Jedi willing to face Vader. You've got a romance with Han and Leia as they're on the run from the Empire. You've got betrayal with Lando Calrissian being the friend that does the wrong thing and then tries to make it right. All tied together by John Williams' just stunning score that takes one of the best scores of all time in Star Wars and somehow makes it even better with this movie. This is the one that is the most satisfying, that has some of the best action, that has the emotion. This isn't just a great Star Wars movie, it is one of the greatest movies of all time. So that's my ranking of the Star Wars movies. Here's what you guys have to say about them.
Force Awakens, I watched that with my daughter for the first time, and I really enjoy this movie quite a bit. I love the humor, I love the new characters.
This is definitely a movie that I love more and more every time I watch it. It's still right under The Empire Strikes Back for me.
Hey guys, so The Phantom Menace is a pretty awful film. I mean, the pacing is really bad. George Lucas's directing isn't very good.
Yes, Return of the Jedi is the weakest of the trilogy, but I still think it's awesome. I love the speeder bike chase on Endor. I love the space battle over Endor.
This one's great. It has really good moments. It's still got the flaws of the prequels, but it does have the best narrative of all three.
As time goes by, the effects in the prequel trilogy stick out more like a sore thumb. And it's a shame because this probably is one of the most emotional stories of the whole saga.
Star Wars, I left the theater with so many different mixed feelings that I'm having a hard time processing them all. Overall, very positive experience, and I thought it was a really good movie.
I need some time to process it, but what I can say about it is the film across the board is phenomenal. Mark Hamill gives one of the best performances I've ever seen from him, and it's an Oscar-worthy performance, and Carrie Fisher is just flat-out heartbreaking. This movie is phenomenal.
Ranking the Star Wars movies is a little bit like ranking your kids. No matter what you do, you're betraying someone. Hey, if you want to appear in one of my future reviews or ranking videos, all you have to do is download the Stardust app. It's at the link down below in the description. It's in the Apple and the Android store, and it's totally free, no cost, no ads, none of that fun stuff. It's just an app that's designed to make it super easy for you to record 30-second reviews and reactions to your favorite movies and TV shows, or your least favorite, whichever movies and TV shows you want to talk about. You just select the movie you want to talk about or the TV show you want to talk about, hit record wherever you're at, and post it up there. It's so simple. So if you kind of want to be in one of my future videos, download the app, follow me on Stardust, and then whenever you record your reactions, tag me in it so I can see your pretty face and your thoughts on stuff, and maybe I'll include you in a future video. And if you're new to my channel, please consider clicking that subscribe button. I do movie reviews, TV reviews, ranking videos, hey, like the one you're watching right now. But the key thing is, I don't want to just talk about movies, I want to talk about movies with you. So join me in the comment section, download the Stardust app, tag me in your videos you post, and thank you so much for watching.